So, good morning, guys. Good morning, sir. I am Danna Apaso, the second presenter for the second topic in the Reading Visual Arts for the week 6 to 7. I was tasked to report about the pages 65 to 67, which covers the topic of pictorial turn. So, before anything else, I will say I do apologize for the inconvenience, just like the noise disturbance and for this kind of presentation because lately I was having a hard time and technical issues about my Zoom, and now I just uses my screen recorder for me to present my topic. So, once again, good morning. I was tasked to report about the pictorial turn. So, pictorial turn was came from the two root word pictorial and turn. When we say pictorial, it simply refers to any kind of pictures, images, and photos. And the word turn here was it refers to the new dimension or a development in the earlier understanding. It means it is the term uses a another way of making or another way of um approach to make an analysis about a certain photo. So in all, a pictorial turn is an analytical approach that is a semiotic at some levels. When we see semiotic, it is the uses of symbols and signs. It involves identifying signs, like I said, and analyzing how they come together to come up a text within its context. It is the logic of the political turn is central to any number of intellectual and scientific pursuits. The pictorial turn is a post-linguistic or the study of languages, post-semiotic, and the symbols and signs, rediscover of the picture as a complex interplay between visuality, apparatus, institutions, discourse bodies, and figurality. The last statement was came from an art historian named William John Thomas Mitchell, who is also known for having different accounts of pictorial term. He has also proposed books, proposals, and such about the pictorial term. So I do assume that all of us have different analysis on this presented pictures. Just like the first one, it we can use as the symbolism, just like the trees, birds, the sky, or it simply implies that this picture is more on about the environment. The second one is more on artistic or just like a normal drawing in expressing some some artistic way, and also the third one. So the next slide, here are the four peoples that has an accounts of pictorial turn, and it also uses they also uses pictorial turn. They have different definitions about pictorial turn as to what they have on their own disciplines. So we have here Stuart Halls, Maurice Merleau-Ponty, Ferdinand de Saussure, and Michael Polanyi. So first one, Stuart MacPhail Hall. He said on the theme that meaning in use, the realization requires at the other end of the meaning chain, the cultural practices of looking and interpretation, the subjective capacities of the viewer to make image signify. So first, he was a Jamaican-born British Marxist sociologist, cultural cultural theorist, and political activist. He was one of the founding figures of the school of thoughts that is now known as British Culture Studies or the Birmingham School of Cultural Studies. He has the idea of ideas have their own economy, he said. And since he is a cultural theorist, it is expected that the definition that he has about the pictorial turn is more on culture or involves the concept of culture. And as he said, culture plays the primary role on how we construct meaning. As culture consists of our shared concepts, he believes the idea that to understand on how we construct meaning as culture is through representation. It's like that. So for me, as what I have um understand on the context, he has he implies that pictorial pictorial turn is in analytic approach in which it the concept of culture is present, just like um you're going to present a picture, and some of the people may implies or interfer that this kind of picture has a culture of something of this from the artist, just like that. So the second one is Maurice Jean Jacques Merleau-Ponty. He was a French phenomenological philosopher strongly influenced by Edmund Husserl and Martin Heidegger. The constitution of meaning in human experiences was his main interest, and he wrote on perception, art, and politics. And on the said sim, he said that even at the most basic level of understanding, we usually have to move our bodies to see the visual text. So, in other words, the concept of Maurice Ponti is more on the physical activity, or in I- in in analyzing a text, the physical activity is present. Where in Stuart Hall's idea, the pictorial turn on his idea has the concept of culture, and while on Maurice Monti there is a physical activity that is being involved. He is the one who proposed that there is a division of body and mind, in which um, the body is connected to the mind, or in other words, it is more on the consciousness of the person itself to visualize a certain image or a photo. So he studied pictures as an imagery projection surface that offers us the possibility to see through things. He relates the study in his idea. He relates the study of phenom the discipline that he has, which is the study of phenomenons, in which it seeks to understand the outside world as it interpreted by and through the human consciousness. So, in other words, um, it is the idea of Maurice Ponti is more on the consciousness of the reader or the viewer. So the next person is Ferdinand de Saussure. He was a linguistic and semiotician, um, the person who studies languages and symbols. His ideas laid off a foundation for many significant developments in both linguistics and semiology in the year on the 20th century. On the learning manual, he said that a sign is resulted from an imagination or an activity of human minds that is expressed through language codes and understood by the individuals who are involved in the communication process. So he was the one that said that language is a system of sign, and sign is basically things that stands in something else, just like that. He was able to identify that the reader's approaches to the phenomenon of language are different, wherein the science has two is like a two-sided coin, in which the other side may be a signified or more on the concepts, and the other side of the coin is a signifier, or those people who uses sound images. Let Just like for example, when I say dog, maybe for me it is the literal dog that we see. Those dogs that has four legs, a hairy tail, a hairy body, just like that. And maybe for the others, it is a different, or those are the peoples that are signified, belongs to the signified, who is uses more on the concept, not on the image itself, because those people maybe uses sound or image, just like using the literal meaning of a text. So lastly, we have Michael Polanyi. He was a Hungarian British polymath who made important theoretical contribution to physical chemistry, economics, and philosophy. On the said same, he said that the trained delicacy of eye, ear, and touch is to put the work to test scientific knowledge against observed events. He claims the idea that scientific knowledge is not just about the logical reasoning, but there is also an institution that hunches and creativity going into the scientific method. On the team, he said that maybe a doctor, a nurse, a something in line with the medicine discipline may have their own reasoning to into a specific method, or they have a specific method. But he also said that he points that um maybe that persons in a said discipline may have other methods to use in identifying and analyzing a um an image or something, an artwork. So as a realization, the point of pictorial turn is just um it is just an approach, analytical approach, in which we are using the other vision or the other dimension of the image, not only in just the the outer appearance of it, but also we look forward for the inner meaning of it, just like the other historians or other people that uses in their disciplines. We have also our own way, or just like the idea of Ferdinand de Saussure. Maybe for me it is different, and maybe for you the concept of it is different, just like that. So Pictorial turn is really an approach that can be used as a symbol or any languages depending on the viewer or the audience. So that would be all, and thank you guys.